The music still played. The champagne still flowed. The laughter still echoed. But everything had changed. Lucy felt it in the way people glanced at her now, not with disinterest, but with curiosity, uncertainty, even discomfort. She wasn't the forgotten outsider anymore. She was a disruption. And nothing unsettled people more than a disruption they couldn't predict. James Harlow still sat at the head of the grand dining table, his grip on his whiskey glass just a fraction too tight. Karen still held her practiced, elegant posture, but the way she sipped her wine was different, no forced, controlled. Olivia had retreated slightly, her once effortless charm dimming, her eyes scanning the room as if searching for reassurance that their world was still intact. Hunter had already had one drink too many. His confidence, once effortless, was now forced bravado. Lucy smiled. They were unraveling, and she hadn't even done anything yet. Lucy didn't have to move much. She just had to exist. She let the weight of her presence settle like a stone in a still pond. She walked slowly toward the bar, not seeking confrontation, but letting it find her. And it did. Hunter was already there, drink in hand, his tie slightly loosened. His smirk was still present, but now it was a little too sharp, a little too desperate, like he needed to prove something. "Lucy," he greeted, lifting his glass. "You're really committing to the whole return of the Black Sheep act, huh?" Lucy simply raised an eyebrow, waiting. He chuckled, shifting his weight. "So, what's your plan here? Show up, make everyone uncomfortable, then disappear again." Lucy tilted her head. "Funny," she mused. "I was about to ask you the same thing." Hunter's smirk twitched. A small misstep. A small crack. But a beginning. She leaned in slightly, lowering her voice. "Tell me, Hunter, how's your job going?" The moment the words left her lips, his entire demeanor shifted. The smirk stiffened. His grip on his glass tightened. He recovered quickly, but not quickly enough. Lucy smiled. "Oh," she whispered, "that's what I thought." She didn't need to say more. Because now, people were watching. And Hunter knew it. Karen saw the moment unfold from across the room. She saw the flicker of something dangerous in Lucy's expression. She saw the way Hunter reacted, not like the golden child, but like a man caught off guard. Karen had built this world too perfectly for it to fall apart so easily. She wouldn't allow it. So she did what she always did. She tried to control the narrative. She approached, her heels clicking against the marble, her wine glass still delicately balanced in her hand. "Lucy, dear," she greeted, her smile effortless. "You know, for someone who claims to have left this family behind, you do seem very invested in being here." Lucy turned slowly, meeting her stepmother's gaze with a patience that felt dangerous. "I was invited," Lucy said smoothly. Karen's smile widened. "Oh, of course. Your father is very generous that way. Always willing to extend an olive branch to," she gestured vaguely, "those who need it." A subtle dig, a reminder of who held the power here. Or rather, who used to. Lucy let the silence stretch. Then she exhaled softly, as if mildly amused. "You're right, Karen," she said, her voice almost too gentle. "He has been very generous." Karen's smirk grew, satisfied. Until Lucy continued louder this time. "I mean, not every man would drain his own daughter's college fund to pay for his stepson's future." Karen's smile froze. Hunter's drink nearly slipped from his grasp. James, from across the room, stilled. And the guests? They heard. Lucy didn't need to yell. She didn't need to cause a scene. She just had to let the truth sit there. And let everyone witness the way Karen reacted. Karen's fingers tightened around her glass. "Lucy," she said, her voice dangerously smooth. "That was a very long time ago." Lucy tilted her head, feigning curiosity. "Oh? So you're admitting it happened?" Karen's lips parted, but no words came out. And in that moment, the balance shifted completely. Karen had played this game for years. But tonight, Lucy rewrote the rules. Karen Harlow had always been impeccable. Every word calculated, every move deliberate, every lie so well crafted it became indistinguishable from truth. Until now? Because now, under the golden glow of the ballroom chandelier, with dozens of high society eyes on her, she had no good response. Lucy's words still hung in the air, impossible to ignore. "Oh? So you're admitting it happened?" Karen's lips parted, but for the first time, no sound came out. A beat too long, a hesitation just enough. And that was all Lucy needed. The whispers started. "Wait, what is she talking about?" James took money from his own daughter. Wasn't that meant for her college? Karen's fingers curled tightly around her wineglass, her signature smirk slipping, her control over the narrative crumbling in real time. James, who had remained silent up to this point, exhaled sharply, setting down his drink with a deliberate thud. "Lucy," he said, his tone controlled but edged with warning. "Enough." "But Lucy?" She simply tilted her head, amusement flickering in her green eyes. "Enough?" she echoed softly. "You always did hate it when people spoke the truth." Karen's nails pressed into her palm, her mind working frantically, calculating a way out. She couldn't afford to lose control here. Not like this. So she did what she always did. She went for Lucy's weakest point. "Oh, darling," Karen finally spoke, voice smooth as silk but laced with venom. "I know you love to hold on to the past, but really, I would have thought you'd be over this by now. After all, you've done quite well for yourself, haven't you?" Lucy saw the trap instantly. Karen wanted her to justify herself, to prove her worth, to remind the crowd that she was successful despite them. But Lucy didn't need validation. She only needed them to squirm. So instead, she smiled. "Oh, you're right," she said lightly. "I did just fine without any of you." The words weren't defensive. They were final. Karen's smirk twitched. Because this wasn't the response she wanted. Lucy wasn't playing the game. She was rewriting the rules. James sat rigid, fingers tapping against the arm of his chair, eyes scanning the room, assessing how much damage had been done. Karen had failed to turn the conversation in her favor. Hunter, still standing by the bar, had retreated into silence. Olivia, ever the perfect daughter, pretended not to notice. And Lucy? She was just watching, calm, unbothered. And James hated that. "I don't see why this is a discussion," he finally said, voice commanding. "My family has nothing to be ashamed of." Lucy arched a brow. "Oh, so you're not ashamed that you stole from your own daughter?" Gasps. A new ripple of whispers. James's jaw tightened. Karen shifted, carefully placing a hand on his arm, an unspoken warning, "Don't let her bait you." But it was too late. The moment James had to defend himself, he had already lost. Hunter, who had been watching from the edge of the room, took a long sip of his whiskey, his mask cracking. Lucy had cornered him once tonight. Now she was doing the same to their father. And Hunter knew if James fell, so would he. His entire life had been built on borrowed power. His success wasn't his own. His future wasn't earned. And now, everyone could see it. Lucy caught his gaze across the room and smirked. And that was it. That was the moment Hunter broke. "Oh, give me a break," he muttered, his voice louder than he meant it to be. "Are we really doing this?" Heads turned. Lucy blinked innocently. "Doing what, Hunter?" His jaw clenched. "Dragging this family through the mud." Lucy laughed. Not angry, not bitter, just amused. And that enraged him more than anything. "You think you're better than us?" he snapped, stepping closer. "You think just because you left, you're somehow above it all?" Lucy didn't flinch. She just watched him unravel. "No, Hunter," she murmured, voice almost gentle. Then, leaning in just enough that only he could hear. "I just don't need this family to survive. Can you say the same?" And that was the final blow. Hunter's breathing hitched, his face darkening. And Lucy? She simply turned away. Because he wasn't worth another second of her time.